Infamous. Game 3.
Those magical words. Game 3, the decider. One game for these two teams. Someone's being sent home. Someone's going to advance in the top 8. It's do or die now. And I got to say, this draft, this is where it all begins. This is where the story of this elimination match starts.
This is when things are getting shaky. Whether we go for this one pick could decide all. Whether you want to go for a comfort pick or you want to try to counter what they have. You've seen some of these interviews that some of the teams prefer not to counter pick too much. You just go with what feels the best for your team, what you practice, instead of putting yourself in a bad position, especially in this elimination. We're going to call it a best of one.
Well, we call it a best of one. It is one game, but all those past games will still definitely be fresh in their mind as far as some of the picks and heroes that affected them. Magnus being one of those ones that Infamous used so effectively. An Infamous immediate response already from game 2. They're banning out the Omni Knight.
Yeah, that's usually when a team's saying like that was the real problem. Not your OD, not your Lifestealer. It was the Omni Knight that enabled all of these. And I semi-agree because, like I said before the draft, I think that Snaking is sort of the linchpin for this team. Him having a good game, being able to enable his other teammates, I think is huge for Newbee.
Well, we'll see what other deviations might come out. Newbee are adamant they want to keep banning this Whisper Enchantress. That's been his most effective hero as far as Infamous are concerned, so no surprises there.
Are they just going to ET open up? I mean, they did it 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Win-loss.
It reveals so little when you just first pick this ET. Like, you can go so many different directions. It gives you team fight. It gives you strong lanes.
And the reason why they banned out Omni Knight was because there were 2 saves. You have OD and you have Omni Knight, and they itemized so aggressively. On Newbee's side, you had this fast blink hex OD, which got him a lot of the kills on the side lanes. And Lifestealer also went for a basher. He has a free BKB built in, and they could play aggressive. No need for early BKBs or anything, because you have these 2 saves, and they open up with the Tide Hunter. I would love to see any kind of counter to a Tide Hunter. So we've seen this multiple times throughout this TI so far, where teams can fight around a big Ravage. Like, you don't have enough to burst him down because of the Kraken. You can't lock him with the... That's why I want to see some kind of Enigma, Faceless Void, maybe even a Doom. Or if you want to have a good laner against him, get something like a Slark.
We'll see if Infamous have a response to this. They probably weren't expecting a first pick overall Tide Hunter based on, you know, the way Newbee have drafted the last couple of games, so... We'll see.
Oh, so that's one way.
Okay.
It's a slower hero, though. That's the only downside, is like he's a little bit slow. The problem with the hero is like he's really good against like certain heroes, but at the same time, like you're very ulti reliant. Your laning phase is like, it's okay, but really the reason why you pick this hero is because you think that the ult will counter other heroes. Like, you're trying to prevent some heroes from being picked. I'm still surprised that neither side has decided to take the SD, considering how popular it was yesterday. And I do think it's like one of the best anti-carry cores.
Yeah, but having SD and AA for Infamous, you have 2 supports who don't have enough lockdown. You don't have the control.
I'm down with like not taking SD AA, I just mean SD in general. So Infamous is going to grab the Wraith King, which you talked about. I really like that point you said, like, what hero are you going to go out on? You're not going to regret, I feel like, going out on this Wraith King of Hector's.
Yeah. Look at Hector dancing.
He's about to style on these kids.
Ooh, boy. And this also, now the AA pick makes a bit more sense, because this is one of the best laning supports to pair with Wraith King and lane.
I would not be surprised if they just go straight for OD, because I believe it's not going to survive the second banning stage.
Would mean you're most likely picking up 2 cores in the first stage and revealing a lot as far as your draft's concerned, but you maybe don't care if you're revealing a lot if you're really content with the heroes you've got and the way they match up against your opponent. 8 wins, 3 losses on the Wraith King, only behind the Lifestealer as far as success at this tournament goes. Instead, though...
That's a different approach. They're going to go for Mana Burn, probably position 4. Invoker, they can still swap things around, but the position 4 Invoker right now seems like the best role for him.
And this was one of the kind of out there picks that Fog mentioned that Newbee brings to the table.
I really like this Invoker pick, because I think that what you really need against both these heroes is like the ability to hard reset fights. And Tornado is one of the best ways to do so. Plus, I think it just outpaces the AA. You have a hero that can just like get in your face, pressure you. When you have an AA, what you want your team to do is like be able to initiate slowly, and for you to be able to just like load up the cannon, snipe, take your time, take the shot. But Invoker 4 especially doesn't really allow you to do that.
Is there any concerns, though, that if it does go late, like Invoker, yeah, you can burn Wraith King's mana pool until he gets level 20. He gets the Reincarnation, doesn't have a mana cost talent, and then all of a sudden, this Invoker pick doesn't really counter the Wraith King at that point as well.
No, but it's still a good of a pick, especially if he has a good laning stage. You get that urn, you can get the solo pick up on this AA who has no escape mechanism whatsoever, and the hero scales. It basically becomes your fourth core as well.
Okay. Well, we'll see Lina and Tiny band out as we go into the next stage. Newbee already, I mean, a lot of team fight. Tide, Invoker, that's definitely not an area they're lacking. And they still have their mid and carry, so their draft very open right now, it feels like. Whereas, you know, Infamous, a lot of directions they can go, but it's Infamous. You're expecting 4 Protect 1.
I could also see them take the Nyx here. I actually don't think it's bad for the break mechanic against the Tidehunter, so that he doesn't get the Kraken, and it's not bad against the Invoker either. Anytime you cast a spell, you can Carapace it.
Yeah. And we've seen Nyx as one of his most played. Tiny, another hero he's really good on. Something Schofield's played that other teams haven't is also the Tusk. His Tusk has been pretty damn good.
Yeah, they also picked it for Whisper twice in the group stage.
No one wanting to be brooded in a final game of TI,
Yeah.
so
even though they have
banned
a
out.
decent hero against the Broodmother with the Tidehunter, he can be the one standing in that lane, even though Broodmother will still find a farm on the map. What Infamous can do with these two heroes, just pick a third one, and it's an extremely strong tri lane. But then you need to have a good hero in 1 versus 1 matchup, because Tidehunter really loves getting those 1 versus 1, especially against the melee heroes. And I mean, he just shines with getting the levels early on.
And that's something which Infamous may want to shut down. Like, they're a team that likes to run these more roaming 4 positions or tri-lane type setups. Whisper often gets kind of just, you know, put on his own to fend for himself.
It's taking a while for this pick. I think for 4 positions, I still feel like since the Tiny's banned out too, I think the Nyx still has value.
It's the right fit when you've got the AA, who is this kind of passive 5 position, it feels like. They get Leshrac for now. I don't think we expect that to be a 4 position, though.
It looks like a core Lesh.
They've played it offlane a lot for Whisper.
So they need to pair it up. If it's an offlane, pair it up with another low cooldown stun, something reliable.
And Nyx Lesh, there we go. That's the lane we've seen a lot of. But yeah, like heroes like the Sand Kings also sometimes partnered with a Leshrac, although maybe not so much as a 4. You guys like the Leshrac? How do you feel like it matches up against what Newbee have picked so far?
It's a flex pick, so it can fill basically 3 roles right now, so they're not revealing anything.
As for Newbee, they've got some flex picks of their own with the Invoker, but they're going to pick ET for now. Typically played in that 5 position role.
It's going to be so hard to play around the Newbee when they are the ones being initiated on, at least from Infamous side of because you have Tidehunter's Ravage, you have Tornado, EMP, and Elder Titan with probably 2 of the best counter-initiating spells in the game.
It feels like, yeah, Newbee's going teamfight and more teamfight. Infamous is just saying, well, we're not even going to try and match your teamfight. We're going to play our style of Dota. You know, we're going to look to get Hector so farmed to the point where we don't care about these teamfight spells. Go for your BKB timing specifically. That's where all of a sudden, Newbee, you jump them with BKBs, they don't have a good response. Earth Spirit, Schofield, going to be playing one of the more aggressive and active 4 positions.
That's a lot of team fight on the side of, actually both sides have just a ton of team fight. Like the 5v5 potential of this game is going to be sick. Like if I'm Trent and Lyrical, I'm pretty hyped about this game just because I feel like they're just going to fight nonstop. There will be a time period where both sides just have to engage.
Why do you think they picked the Earth Spirit over something like the Nyx Assassin we were talking about?
I actually think the Nyx is still good because it's good against the ET, the Tidehunter, and the Invoker. But I think part of what it is they want an easier way to gank for mid and for him to be able to rotate and secure both lanes. Whereas I feel like Nyx is good in that regard, but like he's not going to have that dream game like he did in game 1, I feel. Like Earth Spirit's a little bit more reliable in that case.
Well, looking to win multiple lanes using that roaming Earth Spirit, and we'll see how Newbee address this. There's often certain mid heroes that you want to maybe play that have those escape mechanisms when you're up against an Earth Spirit.
Yeah, Queen of Pain comes to my mind, something that has this, as you mentioned, escape mechanism when Earth Spirit rolls in. They're gonna go with that. It's just a comfort pick for Newbee.
Yeah, and it's also pretty good when you look when you talk about Earth Spirit having a magic immunity going into that fight. Leshrac AA, a lot of magic damage where the Rage is going to be very useful.
I think it's good against 3 of the heroes on the side of Infamous. And it's not a terrible core matchup for you either. Like, I think it's quite good against the AA, the Leshrac, and the Earth Spirit. He doesn't really care what they put out. My favorite part about Lifestealer games is when you can pick a core that has his own built-in BKB, and he's not hampered by his pace in the game.
And we saw in the game number 2 the itemization from him, getting that armlet as the first item after Midas, and then transitioning into Radiant, so he can still take a fight with his team before 15-minute mark.
All right, well, we're going to be heading into those final picks, and likely both teams looking for a mid laner here. We have not seen much, if any, mid invoker from Newbee. It's almost always been that 4th position for MSS, so it is going to be Newbee having to pick their mid first, pick it a little bit blindly, and they're going to be a bit worried about what kind of counter picks can come out, which does make this final pick a bit more difficult.
Newbee needs a playmaking hero, something that can go in, make stuff happen. Otherwise, they will be the one just counter-reacting to what Infamous is doing. I mean, their lineup is really great with counter initiation.
Are there any cheese picks Infamous can bust out with that 10th pick? I mean, Husker was mentioned. It was also banned out 10th last game. Is anything along those lines possible?
I feel like Husker pairs it a lot better when you have some sort of save for him. I kind of think that they want one more core that can teamfight or another core that can scale. I'd even be okay with some hero like TA for Chris Luck.
They have no ways of breaking refraction so far, so it looks like a good TA. And they have the last pick.
It also doesn't feel like they have good lockdown for something like a Storm or an Ember Spirit. They don't have that real instant stun factor.
Yeah, I'd be super down for like a Storm game on the side of Infamous. But we'll see. As they ban out the OD on the side of Newbee, I would like one of those like scaling mid cores though. Storm, TA. I'd be alright with either of them. Depends on what Newbee pick for. Yeah. You're about to see, and then you can just counterpick the pure lane and just take one of those depending on who lanes better on what.
Kunkka, that's where the OD ban makes a lot more sense. It's one of the counters to the Kunkka mid, so CCNC. The Kunkka, what's the Infamous response? They did have Monkey King in game 1. That's one of those melee heroes that can feast upon a Kunkka in a 1v1. Any other options that stand out as far as hero matchups that you really want to play here?
Oh, they're going to take Slark. Ooh. So, by the way, they've done this Slark mid like 4 times. They even did it against Brood mid once.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, he got destroyed, but they ended up winning the game, so it's fine.
I love the Slark pickup. I mentioned it after I saw the Tide Hunter, and you're playing against, 2 melee cores. I think it's going to be a really good Slark game to start with.
They had a whole minute of reserve time to think about their pick, and they did not hesitate at all. They were very confident in it, so Infamous seems to be feeling pretty good about their draft will.
Yeah, I think they should. I feel like it's pretty well layered, and something that they really missed. What the panel mentioned was Newbee needs, or Infamous needs the ability to be the better late game team. I think that's where they're most comfortable, where they can take advantage of those things. So I think, I don't know if they had the better draft, but it's more a draft that fits their playstyle.
Yeah, as Lacoste, as for Newbee, they've got this big, crazy team fight going on. Does that feel like their comfort zone as far as being an elimination game? Do you feel like they're going to be happy with their picks?
Well, I think they drafted a good draft for themselves, but they don't have much counters for Slark. EMP will be needed to place on Slark. He can't play without the mana.
Okay. Well, we're going to hold our thoughts for a few seconds. We're not quite ready to hop ourselves into the game. What key players do you think need to really have a stand-up performance? And we always talk about Hector with Infamous. Is it him? Actually, before that, no, we're going to head over to Aoi. He's on the stage with Casey. Let's hear some final thoughts.
All right, Aoi, last time we chatted with you, you felt pretty confident in your ability to just stay true to your game. How are you feeling after that draft, and what do you think worked so well for you in game 2?
I mean, honestly, whenever we watch these games, we never feel like our drafts are like like what we want from these drafts are just solid drafts that we feel we can play our own game in, and it's not like we just want to do well in lanes and then be able to like control whatever we want and fight them. I think this draft like does pretty well at that. It's like sort of similar to Game 2 in that sense, so we feel pretty good with it.
Aoi, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Back to you.
Thank you so much, Casey. And yes, we are here in the final game. One of these two teams, Trent, is going to be going home, and I don't know who it's going to be. It's been crazy so far. Game number 1, stomp. Game number 2, stomp. What's going to happen game number 3?
Well, I like what I always said, right? We want to play our own game. We just want things to give us tools early game, mid game, late game, because things get messy. It is elimination time here at TI, and the best way for it to happen is in the game 3 of the lower bracket. Both of these teams, they've shown they can take on the other. They've got that one win, but it's all about the second one to send them home.
And this is where it all comes down to this, the pressure feeling on it for both teams. Newbee, many of these players used to it definitely, and Infamous maybe under no pressure at all. It depends on how you feel at this point, as they were already the underdogs coming into this tournament, but have proved to be a force to be reckoned with. And a Schofield Earth Spirit. I feel like I've seen him play this hero so many times in the day, but the Chris Luck Slark is also going to be a very interesting matchup to watch early on here.
Yeah, something that's been rising in a bit of popularity here throughout the group stage. I guess we've got a couple of those, right, with the support invoker too, having a go just before the tournament started in a lot of these high-ranked pubs. But gonna have to keep our eyes on that mid lane to see just what this Slayer can get out of it, and how much pressure can he put on the map out of that lane. Is he gonna be able to help set all of that space for Hector on his Wraith King? Because Infamous, if you're going out, you're doing it on the Wraith King, and if you want to stay in, you don't want to have that regret maybe of just be like, yeah, but what if we had to pick the Wraith King, guys, right?
It's true. Yeah, it's so often one of those things that matters, is we have the losers traded off there early on in the mid lane. We did see briefly also the Leshrac able to get the Split Earth into denial of that bounty rune. So it's just a trade-off there of 2 for 1, looked like. And as we head down towards the bottom lane, we're running into a tri-lane situation, this time with the support invoker. So if you're just tuning in right now, this has started to become a bit more of a trend. Trent, do you want to talk a little bit about what MSS is going to do today on this little scary kid?
Sure, man. Support invoker. It's pretty cool. It's a Quas Wex style, so you don't get a lot of those high damage spells, but it's a lot of control. You got yourself some mana burn. And the most common build is you start out with the Bassi, which is going to purchase up right now. Give yourself some extra damage. I don't think Whisper's dead quite yet. Yeah, he's got time. He's fine. So then after that, you break down into the Medallion, the Solar Crest, as well as the Urn. It's a lovely build. It just tons of team fight, and it essentially forces all your opponents to buy BKBs in the core roll.
Highlight die. The body blocks came in for a second, actually from Yawar. And that's going to spell the end of the aggression, at least for now, as both teams getting very low in that bottom lane. So yeah, the support invoker, very annoying to play against when you get the cold snap points up, and as you can see already, MSS going to try and get a little bit of a side pull working there, able to pull the full creep wave off, and we'll see if Infamous are going to be able to come and contest as they are simultaneously doing their pull into the small camp.
It's a really interesting build too, because it has different peaks as well. Like even early on, it's very annoying to play against, and then you get the level 10 talent for the Ghost Walks, you're scouting everywhere, and then the 15 talent when you have a 5-second cooldown on cold snap, which is just ridiculous. Completely unplayable without a BKB in a lot of team fights. Now, mind you, they do have the Slark, right, for having that Dispel. I'm sure partly why they went for the hero. They'll take that off, but there's a stun. Potential first blood here.
Down bottom, Highlight Die trying to trade hits. Schofield very low and goes down. Yawar drawing first blood, and Pi will eventually fall as Whisper not quite able to hit the Split Earth there the second time around for Yawar.
All right, you will take that, though, if your Newbee get the first blood. And a good start here for Yawar. Gonna send out a clarity to Pili Die. Say, could you bring that down to me? Thank you very much. Handy supports dying to play Courier for their core players.
You can see mid lane so far. This Slark having a very nice time of it. 17-7 versus 8-1 on the Kunkka. And Chris Luck really not. Oh god, he's gotta be careful though. Yeah. And CCNC, he's trading hits, very fire, still trying to live through this one. Pounce away, my god, Chris Luck, you're crazy.
Yeah, he's just doing the math here. He's like, all right, I'm fine.
Breaks the south, CCNC, okay. That works as well. I'm not sure what's happening in this mid lane, but Chris Luck does not have the regen that he needs. Does have a salve on the Courier, but it's still not back at the base yet. He has to go pick it up from the fountain.
Yeah, so CCNC is going to get a little bit of control on the wave here to try and catch back up in the CS, perhaps even bully Chris Luck under the tower, but no, he's a bit too busy at the moment. Looks like I'll get a little bit of free space there.
You can see the Earth Spirit sort of bouncing back and forth between.
They both have vision of that bottom area, so CCNC well aware where Schofield is, and likewise rotations will be scouted as well for our Slark.
So Slark will come back in the lane with full HP afterwards. Still seeing one of the problems that Slark can run into against the Kunkka is, even though you can't use the Tiebreaker for denies, very solid for harassment purposes.
But if you miss that torrent that CCNC threw out and get pounced, he was probably dead.
True enough.
You know, it's the stats stack up pretty quick for the Slark, giving himself lots of armor to trade hits with the Kunkka.
Abomination.
I think Whisper's just doing fantastic down here, though. Going even versus the Lifestealer and the Elder Titan lane. I wasn't sure exactly how difficult it would be for him. Obviously, he saved up for the boots relatively early on to give himself some survivability, but the fact that Schofield's making all these rotations hasn't hurt him in the lane at all.
Schofield dropping a rock just onto the head of Highlight Die as they continue to trade hits. And Infamous are just crazy. He's got this haste rune, so you know he doesn't have to worry. And he's going to head back anyways for the bounty runes, it looks like.
Yeah, and he backs nice and early, too, so that he doesn't end up just getting torrented near the end of that haste rune and wind up dying. So
is he going to go for their bounty rune? Looks like that might be the play that he makes. You are, in the meantime, keeping control of it.
In the mid lane, Chris Luck is getting real low here.
Dude, this guy is so crazy. Fairy Fire, another round of it.
Oh, I think he got
in, and CCNC with the outplay, and that's the tip.
Proud of his mid laner there. The boy's growing up here, getting kills in the mid lane on the main stage. And yeah, he has been playing very dangerously in that Slark. Almost felt like that was destined to happen at some point here.
I mean, that's the flavor though, right? Like, that's what they add in. That's what you love to see from time to time, because when it works, it's beautiful. Well, that's fair enough. But when it works, it's beautiful, and you demoralize the opponent. I feel like that's part of the strat in a way, as you are going to get rolled on down their bottom. And 1,000 gold lead for Newbee, but still very early goings.
Oh, up top, the mana burn on the Hector there too, so hard for them to really continue that harass onto Snake King. And 6-minute rune gonna be coming up here very soon. Die looking to secure bot. It'll be an invis, so I mean, not the best for an ET, not the worst though. As he'll pass right by Schofield, just gonna make sure he doesn't tag him up there.
The call is we're gonna go on to Whisper now, see if we can find him out. Split Earth down, and Whisper going to back away. Obviously do have an idea. As up top, it looks like there could be a go as they've made the full rotation. Snake King trying to scoot down here and find Hector, able to get 3 Fire Blast off first, which means there is no follow-up.
That hurts.
With the Torrent.
A mid-rotation and not securing the kill. Down bottom, though. Schofield, they also can't get him. Salt miss on Whisper, and I think he's dancing away, too. There's no open wounds left for UR.
Just super maneuverable. High movement speed, combo together with runaway spells. Make it work. And Chris Luck, let them know about it.
Oh, that mid lane's so empty. He's just wondering where CCNC is. You know, does he have the same torrents that Chris Luck does from the mid lane? We'll see. CCNC, look, see, piece of cake. He's got this too, he says.
Yeah, able to get the stack off there. And you are now taking a bit of a beating. The roll come in. They get the rage off though, because that was a little bit of vision off to the side. You are realizing that Schofield is in the area, and Whisper going to be able to get some extra damage there off on a Pylai Die before they back to the hard camp to farm it up as well. So, back towards mid, Chris Luck, Dark Pact, sidesteps the Torrent. And how would you rate this Slark mid so far? He's got 15 denies. Seems like he's having an okay time.
Yeah, he gets to the point where he just bullies the Kunkka back, right? Where he takes enough stacks and he says, okay, I can't contest you anymore. But without a rotation, he's not going to have the damage to bring down Chris Luck unless he's quite low, especially once he gets past level 6, right? That's the big tipping point for this lane, and that's why suddenly it feels like CCNC's barely playing it. He just maybe shoves out the wave a little bit and then goes back to trying to find rotations. So find Schofield and Whisper, probably almost baiting here.
Back the other direction. They do have the X. Whisper already broken. Schofield trying to control CCNC, who is in trouble. He does finally get that rum buff off onto him, which is going to keep him that much more survivable. Schofield still thinking about chasing, but they've already killed off Pylai Die. And now with Chris Luck moving into position, Newbee in trouble as their mid laner is going to get pounced on. They find the catch for the kill. And no other answers. Man, Infamous, they're just rolling through this one. Yawar almost goes down as well. But MSS in the area to save his buddy.
Yeah, almost forced a tornado. Force of the tornado. The TP came down just to try and save CCNC first. And now Chris Luck just continuing his presence in the Radiant territory, and that's keeping them off the lanes, right? I mean, Whisper's down bottom, farming freely. Now Uwar's going to have to TP there. Schofield keeping the jungle occupied too. They don't have any real way of just gaining net worth and trying to propel themselves back into this game from Newbee through these stacks, which we've seen before, right? These Tidehunters.
Well, and speaking of net worth, you can see the top 3 cores all held right now by Infamous, as Whisper is going to get pummeled by Uwar a little bit. The stomp comes through and lands. Uwar trying to go for the body blocks, but the torrent follow-up is going to be there, and Schofield not able to save his carry. In fact, he's going to get brought down to boot. Yeah. So CNC finds another kill. In the meantime, Chris Luck does kill off the support Invoker.
That was with the Ghost Walk too. Looks like he had just gotten off, I guess, as I don't see any detection there from Chris Luck. Oh, there's Sentry on the high ground. Aha, I see it now.
They got it.
Blocking off that camp to stop the constant stacking from the Kunkka. So now I talked about stacks in the bottom lanes is occupied by Schofield. They do have a lot up here actually near Snake King, right? He's got that camp, another camp, got the Ancients too, so the whole Radiant Triangle looking quite stocked.
Chris Luck going to get the pounce away, just barely. Doesn't have the mana left over for Shadow Dance. And he has slept. They got eyes on him. Now in some trouble. Chris Luck able to walk away for the moment. The tornado is going to be there. Does he get the Dark Pact off? He still doesn't have mana. A huge problem for Slark. He decides, I'm just going to turn and fight. Start to build up those Essence Shift stacks. Doesn't have any other help in the area. And Pylai died. They get the Shadow Dance. He managed to get his mana back. Still healing up through this. Chris Luck turns, finds the kill on him. Pylai died before he dies.
All right, the 4-on-1, fair enough. But top lane, they're going to ravage Whisper here and give Uwar plenty of time to make this rotation. They don't want to trade one back this time on Snake King, so it will still be a 2-for-1 and favor Newbee here. Plus, they are at the gold disadvantage, which helps some of those bounties a little bit.
Absolutely. The thing that I will say about that was 4 heroes rotating for the kill onto Chris Luck, and still Hector not really being that impeded in terms of his farm.
Have we seen this before?
I think that we have.
This is a replay of the group stages and, you know, about an hour and a half ago.
It will say that Hector does feel a little bit further behind in farm than he was in the previous games.
When you're 600 ahead of the next highest hero and you go, I don't know about Hector this game. He's looking a little lax.
It's true, though.
I mean, what's he even doing?
He's had ridiculously good performances. And this one's still quite a solid one. Chris Luck.
Pylai Die. This was not the area for him.
Yeah, he just had the
earlier today.
Pylai Die has died here more than a few times. Man, this Slark build.
He's gonna open a cemetery here. Yeah, just very aggressive, right? Has the raindrop for the extra mana regen. Help himself out as he's roaming across the map. And that's survivability. Now CCNC gets a freebie here on the Stinger.
They're rotating in, though, afterwards, and he does have the AA Blast onto him. Chris Luck looking for the follow-up with Schofield in tow. They have the Magnetize onto him, controlled, and CCNC looking like he is going to die as well as they get the Pounce, Leash, follow-up, the reapplication of the Magnetize. As it looks like they are maybe even going to be able to go for more. Schofield still keeping eyes on MSS, throws out another Remnant, gets the catch there onto Snake King. Schofield making it happen, and Chris Luck just keeps the ball rolling. One by one, Infamous. Man, they're doing it.
Extremely mobile and aggressive heroes, the Slark and the Earth Spirit. When you pair them up together like this, absolutely ridiculous. Stealing 72 Agi. Look at that. He's in for 185 right now.
And this is, again, just Trump's
get out of here.
And he picks up a few more on his way out as well.
Remember that game in the group stages for Sumail? I think he was like 10-0-1 or something on Kunkka, something like absolutely ridiculous. And it still felt like it was kind of like this even game for EG. Like they had to work so hard out of that mid lane to try and keep this game going in their favor. And I feel like that's kind of what CCNC has to do this game.
Right.
He's dropped a couple deaths now. He really needs that big pop-off. He's trying to go for that halberd. And in terms of friends to rotate around with, it's not necessarily that great. Like MSS is sort of cued more towards big team fights, right? Rather than these little small skirmishes on the Invoker.
And Chris Luck again. Snake King, seeing if they want to chase him down. They do have the Torrent follow-up. Ice Blast to land, though, afterwards. And now maybe the turnaround comes as they deal up Schofield in the area. The Ravage lands. A nice combination, but it's not enough to bring down Chris Luck. He slept for the moment, tries to run away. Barely going to be able to walk out. No! They find that kill. And now Whisper in very deep. And one by one, Infamous are going in. They don't quite have enough damage, though, as Newbee still being brought down so low, but not enough for the kill. Whisper will fall, but Newbee lives.
God, the spread of the damage there. You combine the HP of Snake King and Pilot Eye. They're not even 100 HP. They're way back there. They're still going. Stinger down.
And they're still living as well. And all the Magnetize, though, this might be the big game changer. All of that damage over time. It's a triple kill for Yawar, but a double for Schofield.
I think he went down first, though, right? He did get MSS first, so Schofield will grab himself a little bit of XP there on the Earth Spirit, and you really do want every little bit that you can get. And 629.
It goes into say again the power of that Coco's Rum, just bringing everybody super low, but damage mitigation.
And a very good job spreading that damage as well there from Newbee. But this comes with the high risk play that they're going for. The super mobility, the Earth Spirit, and the Slark, they're forcing these fights in usually very dangerous spots, but obviously they're playing quite fantastically. Chris knows he's under vision there with the help of his ultimate, so he just kind of walks at the Kunkka and runs away. But one missed Dark Pack like that can just cause you so much trouble in the Slark.
Incredibly difficult to fight into, and this is that hero that just wants to keep rolling through the engagements. And now Stinger having level 7 with his ultimate being thrown around a couple of times, it feels like they can just start a fight anywhere on the map and everybody gets there. Whereas Newbee, they need all 5 together to make that engagement happen, and this again buys space for that Wraith King to keep his farm going.
Yeah, and looking at MSS, we talked a lot about this build. It just was like the core one, right? The urn is the medallion for these invokers. Oh, whoa, that tornado!
Split Earth comes
Still dies, though. I mean, it looked cool. Got a mid-roll.
Look out, Chris Luck's back again. The fight's going on the other side as they did get the boat dropped onto the Ancient Apparition, but he's living, and well, they jump back in. Chris Luck, this guy just wants to battle. And we got fish in the water.
Schofield's coming with the Magnetize, too.
Be careful.
Ravage in 20. Time is ticking for Infamous right now.
They do have the silence if they wanted to land it out there, but the slowdown coming from Pilot Eye. Whisper moving into position. They have the cold feet applied, and Chris Luck able to take him down, but he did get the Earth Splitter off first. And now Schofield still chasing. They get the Ice Blast onto CCNC Tornado. Lifts up onto Chris Luck. In for the follow-up. Can't quite catch there onto CCNC Ravage to get the turnaround, and they do manage to catch the Slark. Whisper down low, gets kicked. Oh! Schofield! He did it to him! He blessed him, and he got his buddy out of trouble. Chris Luck, though, is he going to be so lucky? CCNC going to throw out that boat. They do have a Shadow Dance still living through it. Chris Luck trying to run away. Do they have any extra control? He gets the pound off at the angle. Oh, please, Infamous. That's pretty.
Look at that regen right now. Hiding in the tree line there, back up to Max, and easily able to go back when it wasn't for that shrine there, too. And whew, Infamous are playing so deep on that Radiant territory, and there's a 0-0 Wraith King in the jungle.
He's doing everything he wants.
195 last hits, he's got his Midas, he's got his Radiance, and he's working on a bit more there. They are playing this entire game of 4v5 and looking fantastic. 99%!
Oh, Hector. Oh,
6
Hector.
seconds of wasted. That's the best I've seen.
Oh, man. You talk about efficiency on this guy, and it doesn't get better than that. And it's not just the Midas, it's everything.
It does.
Shut up, Brian. Get the hell out of here.
All right, just watch the statement here. Come on now. I'm always looking for improvement. One must strive for perfection.
That's fair enough. All right, 17 minutes in, 5,000 gold lead right now for Infamous. And again, it's just all of these movements that they can make, running into the jungle, creating chaos. And Newbee, in a way, it feels like they're not really able to get out of this mentality where they feel like they have to come and fight because otherwise they're going to lose heroes one by one.
Yeah, and look how bold they just feel from Infamous because of this Slark, right? That's another amazing thing about this hero is just the vision control that you get thanks to his ultimate. And it allows you to play in these very deep areas. Like, 17 minutes into a game, you don't tend to get to play all 5 heroes like this, but they just know they're safe from initiation because of his ult.
Well, and one of the hallmarks of teams that win is controlled aggression. Infamous here, the temptation is obviously just to go balls to the wall and try and run at them. There is still the chance for a turnaround. You look at the Newbee lineup. They've got Invoker, Ravage coming out from the Tide, all the Kunkka spells and the Elder Titan. This is that moment where if you go too far forward, you could potentially get punished.
Yeah, they still need a little bit of help though, right? You are trying to get towards that Radiance, and the Lifestealer, when you go this build, previously we saw him finish the Midas, the Armlet, and then he got the Radiance after. This way, going for that Radiance just means you have this giant period where you don't really help your team all that much.
I mean, again, you talked about it earlier. Right now, Yawar is 5-0-5. he's been involved in kills. He's been running around making things happen. Wraith King 0-0-0, and he's 3,000 gold ahead of him. He just farms. This guy's a monster.
We figured it out. It only took us like 7 days of watching him play. Arcane Rune on Slark, not gonna grab this guy. Hector, Skeletons up top. Chris Luck aggroing that mid tower. Look at Hector.
He's just running in. He doesn't have that much mana afterwards, but he's not looking afraid, and he just wants to beat down MSS. Does need to be a little bit wary. Has enough for his ultimate. Still, he's brought down super low. Hector trying to back away the Echo Stomp. He gets the kill. He bleeds. Hector goes down, and he didn't have his ulti available because of the mana drain, and now the kick away. Whisper still living through it. Infamous realized we need to get out.
That timing was terrible. He just threw out the stun, and just perfection there from Paladin. Like, oh, the stomp. I got him. I got him, guys. He's dead. So yeah, all that EMP adding up there, I thought for sure he was going to be fine, but not able to get the reincarnation there means that they at least have thoughts of backing.
Whisper now going to be the next one that's targeted here.
Good
They
silence.
don't decide to go. Good play there.
Yeah,
Nice
stops
go
the
for
combo from CCNC, and they're even going to smoke for the additional move speed to try and get themselves out of here. That's mostly Stinger trying to live, I'm sure.
it. Oh yeah. Does not want to get caught out. Do not feed away kills one by one by one. And Newbee, signs of life here for themselves as they get that Radiance completed. And are going to be able to pick up 2 bounty runes as well. And now find Schofield. He will have that silence again available.
1,580
Actually,
HP as well.
Just throwing out the Magnetize. Okay. Are they chasing for more? Whisper is super low and in trouble as they catch him. And the Lesh is going to go down. So Infamous losing hero after hero these past couple minutes.
Pop down there, very nice. Things still looking very good for Infamous though, right? I mean, 5K lead, Hector's terrifying. He's got that blade mail. He still wants to force another fight. And Chris Luck, probably the BKB is that big thing that they're waiting for.
Seems like it. Obviously, Wraith King, once he gets that level 20 talent, does make a huge difference, having the no reincarnation mana cost. But at least for now, there are still ways for Newbee to deal with them.
Man, they're considering double Halberd here. I like it. One on Yawar as well as the one onto the CCNC here. So, I mean, they understand where all the damage is coming from the Slark as well as that Wraith King. Of course, the Radiant's frustrating, but you can negate a lot of that AoE because of the run buff, as you pointed out. So just stop them from attacking us. Sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that Slark cannot take off of them.
Yep.
And in the meantime, 21 minutes in, 5,000 gold lead. Newbee trying to play for the later stages. Again, oh, Chris Luck, Fusel Blade, but no chance for a follow-up there.
Yeah, there's 5 sentries on Stinger, but he's a bit too far back. MSS even currently under a sentry, actually, because they have some lingering vision in all that area they've been controlling on the side of Infamous. And some beautiful wards too, right? Like this one in between the tier 3 and the tier 2 in the mid lane. Same thing in the top lane, also between the tier 3 and the tier 2. Trying to spot exactly where they're rotating out of the base from Newbee, and that helps you pick these good team fights for yourself.
Oh, caught. Chris Luck going to be able to back off the Dark Pact, keeping him survivable. And Chris Luck keeps on spamming it out. All the chat wheels. You love to see it.
Illusion.
And now you are... Where does he go next after this? However, I mean, he's got the AC queued up next. Are you feeling like he's in this game? He hasn't really been able to make that many plays, mainly just following up with what the rest of his team is doing.
I guess the question is, like, what is his role in the team fights, right?
Yeah.
Trying to add on some burst damage, I would think with the Infest would be great to try and bring down the Slark. If they manage to get some sort of a stun, that's the big question to me is how are you going to find that currently if you're playing for the side of Newbee? How do you kill this Slark? Like, when he goes in too deep and the fight gets really messy under a tower and stuff, they've been able to get him, but I feel like these fights that if they're initiating it on the side of Infamous, Chris Luck probably has a very good chance. And then if the BKB is out, I have big concerns for trying to kill this Slark.
Might have got a quick glimpse there of
This is
the
pretty
Ghost
good.
Walk.
Yeah, I like this.
It's dangerous, and Infamous, not sure if they saw the debuff applied to them, but now with the Radiance hitting there onto those creeps, will pop out of the Invoker.
Yeah, the tower being hit in the top lane by the creeps, probably something that's tipping them off on the side of Infamous to maybe back on out of there.
And it feels like right now, Infamous, they're just going to wait for that level 20 likely of Hector.
Hey, look, well, where's Hector going, guys? Oh, he's TP in the farm.
It's TP into farm.
No, you guys don't want these camps? No, it's fine. I got him.
This guy knows what's up. In the meantime, they're also stacking up other camps on the other side of the map. Hector getting very close to that level 20, which completely changes the way he can play in this game. They have the BKB already there for the Slark.
I swear, I just saw him skeleton, and now again, it's just every time it's back, he's got the max charges, right? Like he's farming so fast at this point. Those other skeletons are still going.
Well, Chris Luck, a little bit of a bother, but he has the BKB, and that's going to make it absolutely fine. The leash is out now. The boat going to not connect because of the BKB. Now
Nice
Schofield still chasing. They're all grouped together from Newbee. What else can they find? Hector walks forward, wants to get a stun onto one, and force staff keeping Schofield from getting stomped there. Yawar, is he going to be able to get out of this one at a time? The splitter timing right after the rage warp, and Yawar's down.
Oh, they got him.
Off to the side. They're keeping him controlled. Chris Luck will fall, but Hector is here, and he's just going for it as they find CCNC. The splitter lands after the Yules. They find themselves another pickoff. Infamous take 3.
Yeah, Snake King and Pylai died. They're hitting those big ultis that they need with the Ravage and the Earth Splitter, but they're still only able to take down that Slark. A big kill nonetheless. I mean, that was his first BKB, but Infamous still taking charge in these engagements here, and so much XP across the board for them now. 5,600 from that fight.
Very well played indeed.
Look at this nice balance on the Wraith King from Hector. 50% physical, 50% magical. Snake King does have the pipe to try and help with that now.
And now an 8,000 gold lead. Infamous on the verge of moving on and continuing to be the furthest placing South American team at the International. Stinger is going to get caught here, though, it looks like, with the Ice Wall follow-up. The force staff coming from Schofield, and he's fine and dandy. They back out.
Does not feel like the kills are even.
No.
Oh, we get ourselves a replay here, too. Schofield so close to going down and living on the absolute edge there, but taking down Yawar. He still had the infest, couldn't quite get it off, probably because of the Ice Blast, of course. Didn't have any sort of a moment for it to get the final kills there, and just the run down after from Team Infamous is Chris Luck, you know, taking his time in the grave to ensure the tips get out there.
Ooh! You can see they're feeling it right now, knowing they're on the verge of moving on. Unless Newbee can do something about it. It feels like it has to be around these big team fights from Newbee. Draining the mana, causing chaos, but BKB is such a good answer to this lineup. You can see the disparity, more than double the amount of bounty runes taken by Infamous in this game. They're about 2,600 gold to the benefit. Oh, Chris Luck DD, this is scary time.
Yeah, they've been waiting for this Roche for quite a while here. Didn't necessarily have the best items for it, but a DD will help. Fortunately, they are respecting the side of Newbee and their team fight, right? Just 20 seconds away from the Ravage. The Earth Splitter is already back and available, so they know it has to be kind of this perfect moment. They needed good scouting here, and what's the Newbee plan? Still winning on 15 for MSS and his talents. Looks like they won't even have to approach the pit. They'll still leave it here, as the Spirit will confirm their suspicions that Infamous has left. Meanwhile, some confused skeletons will hang out with Roche.
So a little bit of again, reset. Where did we get to this point? And it feels like it's, again, been those 4 heroes from Infamous making space for the Wraith King to farm up. Hector is now online with level 21, has the talent, and he's just running it. He literally does not care. He's going to farm their Ancients in front of him and dare Newbee to come and fight. Stun already out. They have the sleep. Slowdown coming with the Boulder Smash. Hector popping the Blade Mail, still thinking about chasing. This is now all of the run buff onto all of Newbee, but they've committed everything to kill off this Wraith King one time. Can they get him a second time? Chase forward. Chris Luck with the BKB, wanting to find himself a target. Hector also pops the BKB. They've gone in really deep. Snake King does have Ravage. If they're able to wait this one out, have Infamous gone a bit too far, or are they going to turn now? The run buff is going to wear off, but Snake King with the Ravage jumps forward, hits it on a 3. Chris Luck able to escape. Now the follow-up coming from Whisper, who runs back into all of them. They find the damage. All of the heroes of Newbee starting to drop down. Whisper will fall. And meantime, the chase forward coming from more. Magnetized onto everybody. Chris Luck, he's on such low HP, but this Magnetized being reapplied. Finding CCNC. Another round of kills. Hector he doesn't have ulti. 1 second. Oh! And he's coming back again. Turns it now onto Snake King as the run comes. Need to get out. They've gone afar as the buyback is there as well. Another kick from Schofield, trying to keep Hector alive as he turns, throws another stun. They don't have another ulti this time, but the walkway is coming as Chris Luck finds space and time for his team. He will give his life for his carry as Hector and Schofield escape.
Man, this guy has just been dark packing everything in these big fights. So Infamous, they take a victory in that one, forcing it to the buybacks. Overall, I guess, obviously, Newbee, they have sent them back, but Slark perhaps force the buyback if they can potentially peek into the Roche pit, but I don't even know if they can do that from the side of Newbee. That fight looked so good for them, too, like the way they were drawing them all back in there. But it looks like Infamous are still going to be the ones gaining on that gold, thanks to the fact that Hector lives.
Hector lives. I can't say anything more about it than that, but Newbee, now with Chris Luck dead for another 30 seconds, feeling confident to try and pressure this mid-tier 1 tower. The silence does come out and Hector shows up. They find the Ice Blast afterwards, Forstaff trying to escape, but now Yawar trying to TP out. That means the rest of his team is potentially going to be caught out here. Hector chasing, they find Snaking, get the kill, 70 seconds, no buyback. And the question is, do they run to Roche right now?
One would think so, with the dieback confirmed. Now, he did pop a Skellies down the mid lane. Oh, actually, no, those are the old Skellies. Sorry. These things just keep on coming back, so Hector heads to the pit. He'll be a very disappointed, because look, if you see that? Midas was ready. He's like, oh, yeah,
oh, wait.
Almost went back.
They don't have the Lesh here, and they're going to lose the AA. Infamous, they're still thinking about fighting this one. They don't have Earth Spirit or Lesh for this fight as of yet, but they still want to go in and take Roche if possible. Buyback is there for the Ancient Apparition. Oh,
30-minute bounties.
DD spawns right outside the pit.
Well, I mean, they probably have it anyway, to be fair. As that's not a courier, it is a forward spirit heading in there. I would get confused by that.
Stomp comes out, able to dodge away, just putting Roche to bed. To take him down afterwards. They're trying to slow down this push if at all possible. They do have Ravage if they can hold it out long enough. Still 10 seconds until that Tidehunter is back up. But they're throwing out the tornadoes.
I think you gotta try to steal. I don't think you can fight this.
Dispel the DD. They still are moving in. 2 seconds until the Ravage is back in online. Hector, they're throwing everything that they possibly can, trying to keep it down, but there's gonna be the Aegis picked up, and a little bit too late. Snaking not able to get there.
Yeah, can't quite find even the Roche kill, I think is pretty much what they were angling for at that point. I think going into that battle was not gonna end well for Newbee, and they knew it.
11,000 net worth lead. CCNC just trying to hold these lanes back, slow down whatever push they possibly can. So it feels like they need more time.
Yeah, lanes are definitely the name of the game right now for a Newbee. They just have to try and stop the ball from approaching their towers as Schofield bringing Snaking far out. Let's be forced back here by MSS. I believe the only one on the team with the Forstaff. Indeed, very useful this game versus the Slark, versus the combos of the Earth Spirit, even just the Wraith King, the follow from the AA. They could use a couple, but Pilotai far too poor for another item on this ET this game, really hurting them out of the support roles.
And you compare just the relative value that you're getting out of these other heroes. Whisper, well, he doubles back, pops the BKB and deciding to run away. In the meantime, though, look at Hector. He's inside the base, pops the BKB, turns on the Snaking. He can't afford to die. And now Hector in very deep. Yawar is going to try and chase the Ice Blast. It comes in, it hits him. Oh, they took him down, no buyback. 50 seconds with no time. And Infamous ready to walk in at this point. They didn't dodge away from the Ice Blast that came through. Disarmed, Wraith King. He's going to be okay for the moment as the sleep comes through. Tornado lift up. He is coming back in a second.
Oh man, AA buffs coming through with the Tracer. Being gone, getting those kills in the fountain used to be pretty damn difficult. But Stinger puts a big one into Newbee.
Still 25 seconds until Wraith King, his ultimate's going to be back up again. So it looks like with that Infamous not wanting to go for the all-in play at this point, probably the right decision. It'd be tough to take the tower without committing fully to the fight.
Yeah, the high ground is there, right? And they are going to respect that. Even though the Kunkka is a little bit behind here in terms of net worth. I mean, it just looks that way, I guess, relative to Hector. He's still pretty close to his opponent mid laner. You have to look out for the boat, the cleave, the ET, the invoker. And then, of course, the end-all, be-all, the Ravage.
And it does feel like that's really been one of the difference makers as you compare the farm that Snaking's been able to get in this game. And it just hasn't really stacked up to what the Lesh is doing damage-wise. And that's always going to be the case with the Leshrac, but not able to capitalize on the control that Snaking's offering to the team with his Ravage.
Man, it feels like Yawar needs to get absolutely massive to have a chance in this game. And he's trying. MSS as well. He's finally back towards that Solar Crest now too to try and give a little bit more assistance over to UR in these team fights. And Hector continues to walk.
And he's going to walk. He's going to pop the Blade Mail. They have the boat afterwards. Rum buff going to be applied to everybody. Hector will go down one time, but can you kill him again? Whisper hits the splitter. Nice play as they get the Force Staff away, but he's X'd and the BKB popped. Hector's out.
BKB down, Reincarnation down. Feels like a moment you'd like to get some aggression in from Newbee, but Hector takes the time to just BKB, TP back to the neutrals.
He's ready to go. I mean, I will say that it's maybe a little bit concerning, the inability of Infamous to close out this game right here, considering 15K net worth.
Right, with the Aegis too, right?
Yeah, or at the very least get a tier 3 tower. Oh, the juke away. Schofield runs into everybody. See you later, guys.
Can't live.
Schofield manages to get away.
No, there's no way.
He's rolling out. MSS wants the kill, but in the meantime, Chris Luck trying to play interference.
He really is.
Dude, they're doing it. And now the rundown, though. Schofield looking like he is in a little bit of trouble. Disarmed. Chris Luck trying to run. They don't hit the Sunstrike. Schofield, he gets away again. What's that TV show, I Shouldn't Be Alive? That's Schofield right now.
All right, well, consider that smoke dismantled, and at least one attempt there from Newbee to punish the aggression of Infamous will go unsuccessful here. 35-minute bounty runes pop up. They will at least get 2 of them. Chris Luck.
Dude, every time we look at this guy, he's just punching somebody. He will back out now. And Infamous definitely setting the tempo of this game. We saw with that smoke up, Newbee trying to catch them off guard and see if they can regain some agency in this one. But it is still 4 heroes that run around, make things happen, and now Hector again picks up another item, the Silver Edge this time.
Yeah, and I like the Shiva's Guard too from Whisper, because if they're going to try and play these side lanes from the side of Newbee, that vision is super helpful for going for these gank plays, as well as even just going up high ground, trying to spot out something like Pylai Die, get that last bit of vision.
Oh, they spotted him briefly. The night vision, Snake King, he revealed himself, and Chris Luck, the Aegis just now expires. He's got to run, he's got to hide. Snake King chasing, looking for the follow-up. The disarm is there, and well, it's going to get the Dark Pact off as well as the BKB. They're in trouble as they're taking down that tier 3 tower, but Chris Luck running away, gets the pounce out, Shadow Dance, and away again. They can't keep doing it to them, and look at your base. Tier 3 towers down, the barracks are starting to fall, Hector is here. And on the other side, they're still keeping control. Up north, they're keeping eyes on him, and Chris Luck playing with the other heroes. As they've got the Ice Blast follow through onto Snake Thing. Newbee are being pulled left, right, and center. They finally force out the BKB TP from CCNC, which means he isn't going to have it afterwards. UR jumps inside. They do have Hector controlled. It was a good infest play to get UR back, but Hector will have his ultimate available. Snake King walking forward, looking for the Ravage. Doesn't quite get it, though. They manage to get the X back pull onto Whisper, trying to kill off this pesky Letrak, but he will not go down idly either, as Hector gets the Shadow Blade walk away, and Whisper, he's just dancing on him as he tries to escape. Sunstrike coming through, still not enough for the kill. He's literally just walking away. They have the Ravage available, but Snaky, he doesn't want to pop it. They give him the tip. Oh, have mercy. Please, no. Another disarm. Snaky controlled. They have the Ravage, gonna finally throw it out now.
He outran it.
Able to catch it. He just runs away. They have lost Chris Luck, and with that, Infamous will retreat.
Oh, Whisper, get on your horse and ride. They have just pulled Newbee apart. They've torn their base asunder, and I don't think Newbee know what just happened.
Literally styled on.
Why go high ground if you can just make them leave their base and chase you endlessly through the tree lines?
20,000 net worth lead after that, and in all of the chaos that Infamous has flourished in, they managed to take down 2 sets of racks. And Newbee, as you said, now left struggling to figure out what to do. That was all as the Aegis was expiring. They got that without the Aegis.
Infamous, the late game, right? It's been discussed, this idea of just like, that's where they've been shining. Not something you tended to say about some of the smaller regions before, right? Always peaked on aggression. Like Hector, I mean, they're still showing that, but they've got the big macro strategy to go with it now.
And they do kill Hector, but the Wraithfire Blasts are going to fly out, and Hector going to try and BKB and walk away afterwards. UR, they feel like they need to get something here desperately. Force Staff away again in the Split Earth to stop the chase. It does have that feeling like for Newbee, it's all slipping away, even denying the tier 1 tower in the face of UR. maybe some solace in a Hex being picked up from CCNC as they need more ways to control in this fight. But Chris Luck looking for the opening. They find MSS going to jump onto him at the start. Snaking, trying to find a good angle of initiation to Ravage at, but they're not hitting onto anybody. Meanwhile, MSS turned upon by Hector. They've got him controlled. Chris Luck, they tear him apart, and now the rest of them running into the side. They fire the Ice Blast as well. Yawar turned upon, trying to run, trying to TP away, but the bash comes through. They find their man. Infamous running forward for more as Yawar just trying to get away from everybody else, but there's no buyback on Snaking. They find another bash. They took down the Invoker, and they are looking to take the rest of this base.
Now that is teamwork. Coming through, you got Glimmer Caves, saving himself with the 4 staffs too, just everyone saving each other, looking after the others' backs in these fights. It's so hard for Newbee to catch them already. They're such slippery heroes. Before you add in the fact of just like, your friends are there. They have so much trust in each other, and how many times have we brought that up at this tournament?
And 3 gets slept, but the one that didn't gets the 4-staff save onto Schofield. Chris Luck walking forward the leash. They have the halberd, but they don't have the damage, and now they have the control as another Ice Blast goes through. You can hear South America chanting in the background as Infamous are looking to take a top 8 spot. GG call. The first time for South America to have a team in the top 8.
You can see the love, though. I mean, these guys know each other, even in the chat right after. It's like, congratulations. Of course, much respect to their opponents as Newbee will be sent home. The adopted sons of China coming in, getting some help at the boot camp here. Still overperforming past some of the expectations people had for them. We're talking about overperforming Infamous. They are here to prove everyone wrong. They're here to represent their region and say we are worth it. There's a reason why we're coming to the minors, to the majors, and now to TI. They're coming for you.
They're coming for you indeed. You can see the respect there as well. Obviously, it hurts to go out at any point in time in this tournament for Newbee, but it is a gargantuan achievement for this team, for this region. It is always sad to see people have to walk away, and Newbee looked incredibly solid throughout this tournament. But it is Infamous that are going to be moving on.
They're so fun to watch.
They are.
I mean, can we just say, like, the way their play style, I know maybe it looks a little bit like monotone sort of deal, seems like the same thing a lot of the time, but Whisper to me just played out of his mind in these games today.
Top 8, how far can they go? Infamous, move on.